My early academic training in drawing and painting has been the foundation of my practice, and it has given me a solid understanding of shape, form, color, composition, and so on. And it directly impacted the way I create art. And I realized that in Canadian art education, it doesn't focus much on this manner, which makes my work different from others. And I studied Chinese painting for only a short time, but it still influenced my work. During my MFA studies, I was inspired by the brushwork, compositional ideas, and some of the philosophical concept of Chinese painting. And also I was fascinated with integrating those elements into my thesis project. But currently I see my work is evolving, so those influences became more implicit. Thank you. Oh, it should be advantage for myself because I didn't learn academic drawing from the beginning to the end non-stop. So my early art learning time was about around 10 to 15 years in China that I just like on and off, not always practice those type of art. But once I moved to Canada, I have engaged in contemporary art practice. So that makes the balance. I can combine these two together to create my body of work. So I can see that is kind of advantage for me. And it doesn't limit anything, but also they give me, as I said, a strong foundation of my practice. The main influences, actually, that was the time I focusing on my MFA thesis project. That was the most time I utilized Chinese painting principles in my work, which is more like the way we use brush and how we interpret energy in the work. And for example, there are something else for the principle, because the sixth principle of Chinese painting, that is another story. But also I'm looking for the way we can contemplate in the work and how we project ourselves in the work from those Chinese art philosophies. So I think that's my perspective. And also that is specific time when I'm doing my MFA. I don't know if that answered the question or not.
Yeah, definitely did.
Actually, the philosophy is too narrow about this question. And we have to talk about the whole thing about, for example, Western art. I have to mention there are two things are important to my practice. One is technique. That's definitely the thing we always focus on in our school. But also materiality and the technique. In my practice, no matter it's painting on canvas, mixed media on panels, or even my intaglio printmaking, they all based on these two aspects. But for Chinese painting, compared to Western representational painting, Chinese painting doesn't use linear perspectives. So it allows me to escape from the physical rules of landscapes and able to emphasize any elements anywhere on my work freely. The other thing I was kind of interested in is the use of empty spaces in Chinese painting. So to me, emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. It still contains something like energy and balance and creating room for breathing and contemplation. So that's a little bit different, but I can tell if I use those ideas from Chinese painting, it forms a good strategy for my abstract exploration. Yeah. For the main thing is that I love to look at some photo references first to gather ideas for creating new work. For painting, I don't have a specific starting ceremony for new pieces, but I sometimes sketch, sometimes just put colors on the canvas directly, and sometimes I could just use my non-dominant hand to create something freely on the canvas. But during the process, I like to abandon those halfway done pieces for a few days and then come back to see them again. And that normally gives me a fresh feeling to finalize the work and to make myself satisfied. So for printmaking, I mainly work on colorgraph printmaking, which is all about materiality. That's why I have to see what materials are available on my hand at the moment to decide what to do. But for mixed media, that is a way I reuse my imperfect leftover prints on other surfaces to create art and give them a second life. So those are my approaches. Yeah. I was tired of being a graphic designer and creating things for others' ideas. That motivated me to move on to fine arts, and which allowed me to express myself freely. And if saying move into fine arts, better we say coming back. So I came back to myself and I could decide what I wanted in my work. But for the flip side, modern design originated from the Bauhaus school, and there are a lot of great design principles I could employ in my work and make the images more attractive. So the pro and con, and that's the whole thing I went through. Oh, that was a long story. Went back to 2024. I was working at Mohawk College, Ontario, Canada. I was a graphic designer there, and they have this 3D motion animation game program that people can download on their phone, and they can use the program go through the campus like a virtual tour. So I was the game graphic designer, game artist at that time. So we have this whole team working on the same project. I have to walk through every corner in the campus to record the texture and structure of the building, and come back to my computer, put everything into a 3D program and make it live. So that was a good time. But once I moved to another project, we lost that very interesting, what should I say? The project is gone and we have to focus on something else. It's kind of boring. I don't want to mention the name of the project. And then that was the time I quit the job. So I think I don't want to repeat the life. So that's why I missed the time I was in the 3D animation project. Normally I will have a relatively representational draft on the first layer. And then I may torture the draft and add my imagination into it. So that's normally the starting for work. But my own approach is called semi-abstract landscape. So it's about the balance of how abstract it is. And it's all about my feeling, how I feel about the full moment. Should I focus on more recognizable elements to let people to see it, to let people understand what I'm talking about in the work, or just give people illusion and let them get confused? It's all about how I control. So I don't care how abstract or figurative it is in the end, but I do care how I resonate with the completed work. Yeah. Sure. The coming show, titled Unforeseen Clouds, explores movement, transformation, and migration through an abstract depiction of skyscapes. As a Chinese Canadian artist. Clouds symbolize my immigration journey to Canada and highlight multicultural perspectives. And those paintings focus on the interaction between nature's forces and human experiences, and serves as a metaphor for cultural blending. And the broader idea is to capture the meaning and appearance of the ever-changing nature at the same time. And whether the changes are significant or subtle, there are always patterns to observe, but they never repeat. This is the main idea behind this theme. Thank you. Well, most exciting thing is I may include my biggest piece, which is 3.5 meters long and 1.9 meters tall, a large painting mixed media work that I finished for my thesis show at Inquire University. So because Lipont Gallery has huge space, then I can show this work. That's my exciting thing for this work. The thesis titled Hybrid Art Practice or Hybrid Art Process, because I was exploring hybridity in art practice that I combined, as I mentioned, Chinese painting and Western painting together. For example, but also some techniques, the blending of techniques. For example, I use calligraph printmaking and painting and let them work together. So I see calligraph prints as elements this time, not prints anymore, and use those elements or pigment on my mixed media. And then I will just apply a second layer, create an illusion for viewers. And that is the materiality, the exploration of the materials. But also from philosophical level, I combine this Chinese painting philosophy, for example, the 6 principles of Chinese painting, but also the abstraction ideas from Western art. So that is second layer of the combining or hybridity. So that's my thesis. Thank you. Well, that's hard to tell, but you know what? I can see the evolution could be subtle. I may still balance abstraction and the figuration in landscape art, but I'm not limited to this subject forever, meaning that I may try other themes. Well, I want to improve. I don't know. I know no artist is perfect, and the improvement is not linear. It's gonna be stages all the time. That's science. Can I say that's science? But anyway, so improvement could be just a sudden time you realize something that you don't like. And for currently, I still want to balance how figurative or abstract in my work. And I'm struggling, should I go this way or that way all the time? And I don't see that's about improvement, it's more about a choice. And currently I'm aiming for a more commercial approach, but I still want me stay in this academic art stream and to focus more on project-based work rather than just making a pretty work and sell the work in the gallery or market, so that people can follow my work and see the concept behind and what I'm thinking about during the time while creating those work. Thank you. Actually, I'm an emerging artist, so I don't know. I'm qualified to give other people advice. But if I should give someone advice, there's a good one. Quantity determines quality, and that is my advice. Well, I don't hate it. I love it because I just taught a workshop about how do you price your work at Kai University for student art set. There was about 20 people participate in my workshop. It's pretty good. So I price my work. It depends on several factors. If for smaller work, I will calculate time and hourly rate for myself, and also material expenses put together. For larger work, I will just calculate size times a square inch. So, for example, a couple dollars for a square inch and just time it, then you got your price. It depends on the year. For example, this year could be $2, next year could be $2.50 for each square inch, could be more. And also for every gallery, I have worked in many different galleries in Canada, so I'll always balance those the same work or same type of work or same size as the same price. No matter how much commission fee you charge, I won't increase the price because I have to make this consistency for buyers, for collectors. For sure, and my suggestion is go Langer College first. Langer College will give you a strong foundation study. Even the program is pretty small. The fine arts program is about a 2-year program. And then you can, after that 2 years, you can transfer to MCAR or UBC or SFU. But MCAR has this agreement with Langer College. Once you graduate from that 2 years program, you can transfer to their 3rd year. And that was what I did. So MCAR is good, and you can have many great professors you can choose when you start to register your class, and more choices. It depends on your direction. If you want to go more conceptual, and you can search those or do your research about those professors to see if it matches your practice or not. Another thing is facilities and the technicians are the greatest place you can have when you are a student at Kai University. So we got a lot of technical support from MCAR technicians, very knowledgeable and helpful, friendly. So definitely I recommend people, if they want to learn art, MCAR is the independent art school university in Canada. There are 3, MCAR, OCAD, and another one in Nova Scotia. So there's just only 3 independent art schools. So MCAR definitely is the best choice if you want to stay in the West Coast. Well, the most exciting thing or rewarding thing about showing my work in solo exhibitions is letting my viewers to follow or not follow, just witness the evolution of my practice in terms of style, techniques, subjects, concepts, and engaging in conversations. But this is difficult. I can give it a try. So Unforeseen Clouds offers a journey through shifting skyscapes where clouds evoke the quiet or silent poetry of transformation and change.
Thank you so much. That was very well done. Kai, do you mind showing us some of the works for your upcoming exhibition?
Absolutely. Come with me. I want to talk about this work. The theory is called Unforeseen Clouds. So this is one of the new paintings, one of those 10 paintings I made for this show. I titled this work Storm because I want to capture, a different kind of cloud system. And I have Googled what the color looks like when there's a storm. So Google gave me several options. The yellow is one. And I used big empty space for this work and a strange composition, which is I learned from my previous study. But also I include the energy in this work rather than a mere representation. Okay, this work titled Storm because I've Googled what the color looks like when there's a storm, and Google gave me several options. Yellow was the one, and we never think about yellow sky, but it sometimes happened. So when I start this work, I have multiple layers on the work, but I wasn't satisfied until like I start to explore those empty spaces. And I really want to try to include the energetic brushwork in the corner somewhere, but also I want to balance the abstractive element with these identifiable representations. The work behind me was created in 2023 and abandoned on this wall for about 1 year. And once I was creating those other 10 pieces of the painting for this show, I was like, should I just continue work on this work? And then I just start with a more gestural like brushwork on the surface. I don't know. Suddenly I have no language. But I just like trying to reuse the space, and absolutely there are some design element on it. So I mimic those Chinese painting brushwork in some specific area to capture the energy from the mountain. So this is the one has mountain elements, not only clouds, and it's a little bit more representational rather than abstraction. And I want to capture the little sunshine behind dark cloud, shining through but not overwhelming to the whole picture. So this is the old painting but a new look.